If your paycheck keeps disappearing, it's not bad luck, it's bad strategy. That's why I studied the spending habits of thousands of people, which made one thing extremely clear. Wealthy people don't just earn money differently, they use it differently too. And if you're not making these 7 specific moves every time you get paid, you're not just wasting money, you're silently sabotaging your future. So in this video, I'm gonna show you exactly how to flip the script so you can turn every paycheck into progress. The reason your money keeps disappearing is because you're still relying on memory and willpower to manage it. When you have to consciously decide every time you want to save, pay off your credit card, or move money into investments, you give yourself too many chances to forget, put it off, or just skip it altogether. That's why automating your finances isn't optional. It's essential because it removes the daily decisions that slow you down and replaces them with a system that handles everything without you needing to step in. Here's how to set it up so everything runs on its own. Once your paycheck hits your checking account, you should schedule automatic transfers that move a portion of it into your savings, another into your investments, and a set amount toward any debt. That way, your essentials are already covered before you even touch the money, and on top of that, your credit cards are set to pay themselves off in full each month without you needing to lift a finger. Most banks already give you everything you need to schedule these transfers, and once they're set up, your money starts moving the right way every time, whether you remember it or not. But none of this automation works unless the numbers make sense. So if you're trying to automate money you don't have, then you're just going to get hit with a bunch of fees. And that's why this next step matters more than anything you automate, because without it, your entire system is built on a false assumption. I'm talking about your safety net, because when life throws something at you, and it always does, you need more than just a plan. What you need is an emergency fund that can take the hit without dragging everything else down with it. It might start with a missed paycheck, then a few days later your car breaks down, your fridge quits, or a medical bill shows up that you didn't see coming. When all that kind of stuff happens, it no longer matters how well your money was organized, because if there's no cash ready to cover those expenses, then everything you've built stops working instantly. Because emergencies aren't a matter of if, they're a matter of when. And when emergencies hit, you've got 2 choices. Either swipe a credit card and go into debt, or use your emergency fund and walk away stress-free. So you want to build up your emergency fund to cover 6 months of your core expenses or the essentials that keep your life running. Keep it in a high-yield savings account and not in your checking account, so it's easy to access, but it's far enough out of reach that it doesn't quietly disappear. And once that safety net is in place, I promise everything gets easier. And avoiding financial disasters is a solid first step, but what comes next is even better, because it's the kind of move that makes you money without any extra effort. And if your employer offers it, skipping this would be a big mistake. Because one of the simplest ways to start building wealth is by using the 401k or RRSP match built into a lot of workplace retirement plans. It's automatic, matched dollar for dollar, and it gives you a return that most people chase for years without taking any risk. Because 401ks and RRSPs are retirement accounts that let you invest part of your paycheck before taxes are taken out. This helps lower your taxable income and grow your money faster. And the best part is that most employers will contribute the same amount that you do, up to a percentage of your annual salary, which is often around 3 to 6%. So for example, if you contribute $3,000 and your company matches it, then you've got $6,000 growing for you, not later, not someday in the future, but today. And over time, that one habit can compound into hundreds of thousands of dollars. So before you start chasing higher returns, make sure that you're collecting the money that's already on the table. Now, it's easy to feel like you're making progress once your investments are growing, but none of that sticks if something else is pulling you back. And the one thing that does that faster than anything else is what we need to talk about next. Because if you're carrying credit card debt, that's where your immediate focus needs to be, because very few investments can compete with an interest rate of 20% or more. That kind of debt doesn't just slow you down, it keeps you stuck. And the longer it sits with you, the more expensive it becomes. To put it in perspective, $10,000 in credit card debt at a 25% annual interest rate means you're paying $2,500 in the first 12 months just to pay the interest. And that's not going toward reducing your balance, that's the cost of doing nothing. So while people are out there chasing an 8% return in the stock market, paying off any high interest debt that you've got is a much better way to lock in such a high guaranteed gain. The most effective way to knock it out is to use a system, either by starting with the highest interest debt to minimize what you're losing over time, or by tackling smaller balances first to build momentum. Both approaches work, but what matters most is paying more than the minimum and staying aggressive. Because the faster you clear up your debt, the sooner you can stop bleeding money and start building real momentum. And once that debt is gone, you've opened up space to grow your wealth. And the next step isn't just about growing it, it's about protecting it. Because nothing builds long-term wealth faster than making sure your gains stay yours. And there's one account designed to do exactly that. Because if you want to grow your money and keep every penny of your gains, a Roth IRA in the US or a TFSA in Canada gives you that edge. Because unlike traditional retirement accounts that let you delay taxes until you withdraw, Roth IRAs and TFSAs work the opposite way. You pay taxes on your money now, but once it's inside your account, every bit of growth is yours to keep, tax-free for life. That means that if you invest $100,000 and it grows to $1 million over the course of a few decades, you don't owe a cent in taxes when you take the money out. And for a lot of people, that's the difference between retiring with just enough and retiring with options. But there are a few restrictions here. For example, in 2025, you can only contribute up to $7,000 to your Roth IRA if you're under 50, or up to $8,000 if you're over 50. And for the TFSA in Canada, the limit is also $7,000. And then there are the income limitations, which I won't go into here, but they're worth looking into if you're a high earner who still wants to capitalize on tax-free gains. But another reason Roth IRAs and TFSAs are so popular is their flexibility, because you can withdraw your original contributions anytime without taxes or penalties. So while the goal is to let that money grow untouched, it also gives you a built-in safety valve in case you ever need it. So the earlier you start with these accounts, the more powerful your results will be. Because when it comes to long-term wealth, it's not just about making more, it's about keeping more. And that's where index funds come in, one of the most underrated wealth building tools out there. Because today, you don't need to be a stock market expert to invest well. And a lot of the time, trying to pick individual stocks is where people go wrong. Fortunately, index funds take the guesswork out by letting you invest in entire segments of the market all at once. So instead of betting on a single company, you're buying into hundreds of companies, spreading out your risk and capturing consistent growth over time. For example, funds that track the S&P 500 have returned an average of about 10% a year. That's enough to double your money roughly every 7 years with no stock picking, market timing, or constant checking required. But here's the part that surprises most people. Even most professional investors don't beat the market consistently. So if the experts can't do it with teams of analysts and decades of experience, then the average investor shouldn't even try. That's why the best approach is often the most boring. Buy, hold, reinvest, and let compounding do its job. It's not flashy, but it works. But still, if you're looking at your income and you feel like you need results sooner, you're not alone. Because while investing builds wealth slowly, there's another way to grow your income that doesn't require years of waiting. It's faster, more flexible, and it doesn't rely on the market, it relies on you. Because if you really want to change how much money you've got, the fastest way to do it is by increasing how much you earn. And that starts with upgrading your skills, because the more valuable you become in the marketplace, the more opportunities open up for you, whether that's a higher paying job, a raise at your current role, or a side hustle that starts pulling in real income. High demand skills like coding, digital marketing, and sales can unlock entirely new career paths, while soft skills like negotiation, communication, and leadership can help you move further in whatever path you're already on. And it doesn't have to come with a big price tag. You don't need to go back to school or take on student loans to level up. There are plenty of online courses, YouTube tutorials, mentorships, and other types of hands-on experience that can take you a lot further than a formal degree. And remember, the money you invest in developing your skills today doesn't just add value now, it multiplies over time. Because when you earn more, everything else in your financial plan moves faster. You can save more, invest more, and you reach your goals much sooner. And most importantly, you create options. Because nothing increases your financial freedom like knowing you can always earn your way forward. But now that you know exactly what to do with your money, why not take things a step further? I'm not just talking about earning more, but making every dollar you earn work for you by getting yourself the right credit card. Because with the right card, you'll have more points, more perks, and more rewards without changing how you spend. So to learn how to pick the best credit card for your lifestyle and maximize every dollar you spend, watch this video next.